Greetings from my hotel room in Dallas, Texas. I'm here for a work conference. I was thinking about waiting till I get home or till I check into my Airbnb to tell this story, especially because aesthetically this isn't the best background, but with recounting stories of a recent event, I feel like it's typically better to tell the story as soon as possible when it's fresh in your mind because we tend to forget nuances and details, right, over time. And this is one of those stories where it's all about the nuance. I'm sure some of you, based on the title of this video and what I've already sort of intimated so far at the start of this video, you're like, oh boy, here's a familiar pattern, and it is absolutely a familiar pattern. We've talked on this channel before about this concept of the DL, the down low, these guys who are clearly into other guys, but there's this facade of I'm a married man or I only date women or all this stuff, right? What's so bizarre for me about this new encounter is that it's yet again me at a work event, a work conference. I made a video similar to this a few months back. I want to say back in June. I was at a conference and similar thing. It's a professional environment. I'm here for work, networking, and all this stuff. And the difference here is that alcohol was not involved this time. Last video, I talked about how I think alcohol oftentimes is like the third party, the third character in these stories where inhibitions come down with, I think, these men who are sort of conflicted over their sexuality. But this time, alcohol was not remotely involved. It was early afternoon. I'm walking around at this conference, and I lock eyes with this guy. By the way, this conference has probably at least 1,000 people, maybe thousands. It's so rare for me to truly lock eyes with someone, especially in that kind of environment where, again, there's no alcohol. It's not a club, it's not a bar, it's not a gay environment, right? Like, it's much more common to lock eyes guy to guy in a place like a gay bar, right? But it's very rare that that will happen for me in public, in daylight. So there's a certain boldness of that in the other party and the other guy that I always find very attractive, that they just like are zooming in and they're giving you like the signal, right? And it's so rare for me that that happens. So this eye contact happens with this guy and we sort of just gravitate towards each other. I think he was walking in my direction and he stops and he shakes my hand, but he was clearly on the way to something like a panel. So I was like, I don't want to interrupt you if you're on your way. And he was like, no, I can talk. So I'm like, So we introduce ourselves and we talk about why we're there for like 30 seconds. And then we just start talking about random things, about travel, about where we're from, about our backgrounds. It was a strange thing in that I don't know if he felt this way, but I was kind of like, while he would talk, looking for new topics to bring up just to keep the conversation going because it was so random and he was supposed to go to this panel that it's almost like I was trying to keep his attention to give him the signal of like, yes, I'm interested, let's keep talking. At a certain point in the conversation, he goes, are you single? And I go, yes, I am. And he goes, oh yeah, me too, like single life is so hard, I just need to find myself a nice Muslim girl who sticks to my same values because I just can't do anything else. I can't, have a girl deviating me from my values. So, it's just a stunning revelation because up to that point, right, being asked if you're single at a work event by this random person you're just meeting, making eye contact and starting to talk that way. And there's a body language thing as well, right? Like, I'm like, this is definitely a mutual interest, but the conversation was ambiguous enough up until that topic that like, you're still kind of trying to read the situation, right? But I found that so sort of shocking to go from something that's such a clear indication of I'm interested in you, like asking the person if they're single out of like, there was no context related to that, to jump from that to I'm looking for a nice Muslim girl was like who are you trying to fool? You know what I mean? Like, you made it this far in the conversation. We locked eyes, we started talking. Why even go there? Like, why try to keep up that facade, you know? So I just kind of blankly looked at him like, okay, like, I don't, like, what do you want me to say to that? We keep talking a little bit, we exchange info, and boom, he left. Definitely in the final handshake, there was something more like intimate than I think a regular professional handshake. I've talked about this before with other videos and other experiences similar to this. It's such a mind fuck because you're like, I know what I felt. And I know that that was mutual. But it's this weird thing where you're both sort of in the moment, you're kind of excited by that electric feeling, that chemistry. But then you're also like, I kind of wish that this didn't even happen because now I have a weird taste in my mouth that this guy tried to push this charade on me. What is the clear intent of doing that, right? You're clearly trying to put up a wall, but is it also that these guys like that they want to be chased? And what if I said I wasn't single? What if I said, oh, I'm married to a woman, which I would never do because I just feel like I couldn't even say it with a straight face, no pun intended. But I almost think guys like that maybe are looking for someone who's just as confused. I don't really know. It's so bizarre to me. And then my takeaway too was like, somebody who is so inauthentic about something like that, that is so clearly not going to be taken seriously by me. This thing of like, I date women and I'm looking for a nice Muslim girl. It makes me wonder what else people like that are lying about day to day, to their family, to their friends, in the workplace. So I actually Googled him after meeting him because this was a social media conference, right? So like you exchange info and his whole thing was he was trying to grow his business online through social media. And when I checked him out on social media, I had this impression of like, I don't know if this is genuine engagement, right? As somebody who has a YouTube channel, who's had a YouTube channel for years, and it's a small channel. At the time of this video, you guys know I just hit 5,000 subscribers very recently. All of my engagement is organic, right? Like, I don't have crazy views, I don't have a crazy amount of subscribers, but every video there's like a sub community of some of you guys, returning subscribers, thank you for returning and leaving comments and such. There's always like a community that comments, shares their feedback. So because I know what that looks like, I also know what like fake engagement looks like. So the typical fake engagement would be like someone who has, let's say, 1 million subscribers on YouTube, but then their videos get like 1,000 views. That's already suspicious. But then you look at the comment section and it's like there's 2 comments and they both look like, bots, comments from bots, like AI generated, very generic comments. So there's certain things that I know to look out for, and I'm sure some of you guys, if you're on YouTube or other platforms enough, you notice these things as well. Like some comments just look fake, some people's engagement looks fake, and I got that impression from this guy. So I was like, maybe this is one of those guys in society that like everything about him is fraudulent. This experience is making me leave this conference with a weird taste in my mouth, just like the last conference, and I don't know what's happening, that this is becoming a theme now. And it makes me wonder, is the universe trying to tell me something, that I keep attracting these guys that there's a clear chemistry with, but then there's always something, right? And it's like, these are clearly men who are not emotionally available, nor the right fit for anything beyond like a one-time hookup or something, right? Like these are not people that you create partnerships with if it's like this complicated or this difficult. But yeah, curious what you guys think. As always, let me know in the comments.